What is up, YouTube? Galela back here with another discussion video today. And today the topic will be the revolutionaries.
And also Joe is here this time.
Hey!
Hey! Skål!
Skål!
Cheers.
Cheers in Swedish is skål.
That's not what we're gonna talk about though. Did you read the new chapter?
I did read the new chapter.
I read the new chapter as well.
We have both read the new chapter.
2 seconds, please. Poor favor.
He has to fix hair because he's a very shallow person, you know.
We were actually gonna make a Wano prediction video today. However, there was a revolutionary themed chapter today, which got us hyped for the reverie and the revolutionaries and all that jazz.
Chapter 904, by the way, if you haven't read it, check that out first, because we will be spoiling.
That is very true.
Yes.
Why are we speaking with a very distinct Swedish accent?
Well, it just happened to be so this time around.
That is just what happens sometimes.
Right. But let's get to it.
Can I just say?
Of course you can.
Karasu has one of the most badass designs I've seen so far in the show, I think. I love his design. So let's just start with him.
Yeah, let's start with him.
We discussed this earlier today, actually, because we've been hanging out on this fine Swedish evening for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So we've already discussed the chapter.
We're gonna start discussing Karasu. To start things off, we could maybe discuss his power a bit, because it's a bit mysterious. And
yes, we were discussing whether it's a Logia or a Paramecia, and our friend, actually, we asked our friend what he thought, and he said the swarm fruit or something like that. And I think that's a very valid theory. I like where that's heading.
The only problem I have with that is that the crows that he summoned made sounds. Like, they all sounded like crows, and... Yeah, exactly. And if it was just like the swarm fruit and he just decided to use crows or whatever, then I don't really see how the swarm fruit will give that power. I'm more into the theory of maybe like a bird Paramecia-ish, or like a bird Logia in some kind of way, like
the feather fruit.
No, but feather fruit doesn't really work as well, since they made sounds and feathers don't make sound.
Also, you pointed out that they don't have eyes.
Yeah, they're all
crows.
Pitch black, even the feet.
I thought maybe an ink Logia, but still, you know Kanjuro, when he draws up the dragons and the birds and all that.
Dragons and birds.
But when Kanjuro draws something and makes it come to life, it also makes sounds. So, like, it doesn't really exclude the possibility of it being like a swarm fruit or an ink fruit or whatever, because there's still
like that's the way it manifests.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. My original thought was that it was like a Paramecia version of darkness fruit, like Blackbeard's power, but just like conjuring any type of thing from the darkness. But that doesn't really add up as well, since they made sounds. Like, that's a deal breaker for me.
The deal breaker for me is that there's only supposed to be one fruit of each. I like you mentioned that there could be like a Paramecia version and then a Logia version, but they're both darkness themed. But I think that seems a bit redundant, not really Oda style, except for the one that you pointed out, which is
like the weight
Miss Valentine and what's his
Miss
name?
Merry Christmas.
No, Miss Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Miss Valentine and MacVice.
Yeah, exactly, because they basically have the same power as well.
Yes, but they were both Paramecias.
Yeah, nice,
sweet. Subscribe. I think Karasu is the most interesting so far. I think that Karasu has a badass design. I love the way, and that's also something that you pointed out that I didn't notice the first time I read the chapter, is that he speaks all throughout the chapter, but at the very end of the chapter it's revealed that he didn't put his voice box on.
Yeah, exactly. He's just mumbling, and then he snaps at that person like, no one answered the question. I'm pretty sure like he answered the question. Got pissed because no one's listening. So yeah, we have some great personalities in the Revolutionary
great
Army.
quirks.
The other person with the power to discuss.
What's his name? Morley, I think was his name.
Morley.
The giant Okama guy.
Exactly. So originally we looked at like some digging fruit, but he's not really digging. Like he's pressing himself in between like layers created from out of nowhere, and they described it as clay-like in the chapter.
So it could be like a clay fruit.
Yeah, like Pika's power in a way.
They're all ripping the powers from Dressrosa.
Well, Oda's maybe starting to run out of ideas. Or...
maybe.
But no, I think this works in a different way than Pika's power. And I think Pika was a Logia. No, he was a Paramecia.
That's the second time we've synced in like 1 minute. But still, I think he was a stone Paramecia or something like that. I don't remember.
And he could because he could manipulate the entire island, but he still had his physical form in a place. Like that's how Zoro beated him. He's just hiding himself inside the rocks.
It was definitely a Paramecia.
Yeah. So and this is also a Paramecia, but it works in some layer way because we also saw him pick up the ground and just pressed it against them,
and
then
it stayed like that.
Yeah, exactly. It stayed with the layers.
And also when he sticked his trident or pitchfork or whatever you want to call it, when he stuck it into the ground, the way it was drawn made it seem, for me at least, like it was a clay sort of texture to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he manipulates the ground and makes it into clay. I think he's only been around for one chapter, so more theories will probably arise. But I think the clay fruit, or maybe I think you mentioned that earlier today as well, like the model fruit or something like that.
Yeah, I could also think something more like that, like he can mold stuff and change its nature in a way, like
sculptures.
Yeah, and probably when he's doing that, it feels like a clay texture. So it's probably I don't know what the English word modeling clay, maybe, probably
the model fruit, sculpt fruit.
Yeah. That's how we think. Moving on, we have the
girl.
Yeah, Betty Bella.
Boy.
Betty Bella. That's what we're gonna call her in this video. So BBBBB. Her power was a rallying power that she could motivate everyone by waving her flag and.
Yeah, it was the motivate fruit or the sway. They mentioned it.
Like the spirit fruit, something like that.
We should probably do our research better and make more notes. Hold on, let me check. The cheer fruit.
That's what it's called.
So she cheers people on in very
demeaning ways.
Yes, that was exactly the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Her power is very straightforward and perfect fit for the Revolutionary Army.
Yeah, I think so as well.
There's no question why she's with them and why she has the position she has.
Also, they're all commanders of northwest, south, and east, and that's probably their territories are then northwest, south, and east.
Blue.
Yeah.
And probably Dragon's crew has the main they have the Grand Line and he's in control of that.
Yeah, and then they have their respective seas.
Yeah. And finally we have Lindbergh.
Lindbergh.
That's actually a Swedish name. Maybe they took it from Overwatch with Torbjörn because he's called Lindbergh.
No,
he's Lindgren.
Lindholm. There are a lot of Linds.
Yeah, very a lot of limbs. He seems to be some sort of mechanic using his weapons.
Also, he's a mink, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't notice that either. I'm not a very perceptive person, unless I want to.
But you saw that Karasu was standing on a roof when I thought he was flying.
That is true.
We compensate for each other. It would have been awful if any one of us had this channel by himself.
Yeah. You all saw that train wreck of a Shiki video that I made.
Yeah, just horrible. Don't watch it. It's not worth it.
Thank you. Like you said, a mechanic and a mink, maybe a hamster or a mouse or whatever. He's very small. He has whiskers and he doesn't have the rodent teeth.
No bunny ears as well.
But he had a hat on. Yeah, and also glasses, so you didn't really see his face.
But he probably would have had the ears up. If Oda had designed a rabbit with a hat, he'd probably show that he have the ears.
God works in mysterious ways.
I don't think it's a rabbit. I think it's more of a mouse, but that doesn't really matter at all.
Nothing else matters. Yeah, he seems to be the only one who doesn't have a devil fruit as well.
Yeah, out of the
He
four of
seems,
them.
yeah, he seems more reliant on like tech and stuff. And also, I thought that if he ever meets Brook, he's gonna power up his soul solid in some way because he used ice.
Oh.
That's just a quick idea that popped up in my head.
For him and Frankie built something awesome together.
I think that's a given if they meet.
But yeah, so now we've gone through all four of them. Let's move on a little bit. One thing that popped up into my head reading this and noticing that Lindbergh is a mechanic is that old theory about Vegapunk being a revolutionary. Like, maybe just a small problem with it, but I don't really... It's the thing that they're both scientists, and it's not really that common throughout the series to have two people of the same role in leading parts of the same organization. Like, in the leading parts, they're usually split up like a Nakama crew.
Yeah.
But this could also differ since these guys are not pirates, and
yeah,
doesn't
like
really
I think there's bound to be more than one scientist in one army.
yeah, probably. Maybe you could go on and explain the Vegapunk theory that I mentioned.
That's a theory that's been floating around for a while, that Vegapunk is a revolutionary. I think we're not the first ones to consider that, but we were discussing the fact that if Vegapunk is a revolutionary, that could explain why Kuma, who's also a revolutionary, gave up his entire body, mind, and soul to the world government, who's like the main opposing force of the revolutionary army. I never really thought that it made sense for Kuma to just give his body up for the powers that he's fighting against. The one who operated on Kuma was Vegapunk. And I think that if Vegapunk is a revolutionary, it would make sense for Kuma to give up his body and mind and all that, because maybe the Vegapunk would have put some sort of failsafe in Kuma, that whenever it came down to the revolutionaries actually going up against the world government, like one-on-one, then Kuma would like snap out of it and become a weapon for the revolutionaries instead of the world government.
I'm thinking more of like a switch that, like, there's a coding in all of the pacifistas that when Vegapunk does this, it will activate the revolutionary program in all of them, and they will turn on the world government.
That makes too much sense.
We know that Kuma and Vegapunk had a good relationship, and it would make a lot of sense for that relationship to be based on the fact both being revolutionaries undercover in the world government.
Absolutely. I think that Vegapunk is like a double agent.
Yeah.
Ever since I heard about Vegapunk potentially being a revolutionary, I don't think I ever changed my mind, because it makes so much sense for their top agent to actually be a revolutionary. Yeah. And like we've mentioned several times now, I don't think Kuma would, as a revolutionary, a high-ranking member of the revolutionary army, make that switch.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless there was some hidden agenda to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't really see that as well. Could also be that Kuma didn't have any choice. Like, he would... Like, maybe he was dying from something. Like, we don't know. Maybe him and Vegapunk were friends and Vegapunk's not a revolutionary. Like, could be whatever. Maybe Kuma's more loyal to Vegapunk than to Dragon. That's also a possibility. Like, we don't really know.
No, we don't know.
We haven't seen
No.
Yet.
We haven't.
That's the gist of that theory, either way, with Vegapunk being a revolutionary. What else do we have? We know now for a fact that the revolutionaries will attack Reverie.
Well, we don't know if they'll attack it. We know that they'll storm it.
Or maybe they won't storm the Reverie, because since the Reverie is happening, a lot of the Marine security are concerning the kings and everyone visiting the Reverie. Maybe they'll take this opportunity to attack Marijoa. I can't really pronounce that. Marijoa. Well, maybe they'll take this opportunity. Maybe they'll take this opportunity to attack them, since I think the security has been lessened at their
But place. I still think that, like, okay, say that you have like a meeting of all the world's top forces. Absolutely, you'd concentrate a lot of your security on that. But if you also have a special faction of people who everyone considers to be gods, then the security there would probably be very heavy as well.
Yeah, it'll still be very high, but nevertheless, the focus of the Marines will be on the Reverie. And maybe they'll do some like
Diversion.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they'll do some diversion, like hinting to attack the Reverie, and then going for Marijoa, something like that. But I really see that they'll take this opportunity to do something major.
Now that you mentioned them attacking Marijoa, I think that maybe whatever it is that Doflamingo mentioned, that's beneath Marijoa, that will shake the world to its core.
There.
Yeah, that's hidden there. I think that whatever it is that Doflamingo mentioned that's underneath Marijoa, I think that's what the revolutionaries are after, because I think that it could be an ancient weapon, it could be whatever, but I think it's something that'll turn the tides of the war, more specifically into the revolutionaries' favor. I think the reason that it's beneath Marijoa and hidden away at Marijoa is because that's where it's the most safe from anyone else but the celestial dragons, because whatever it is, it's gonna be something to turn the tides against them. I think that they have like the most powerful weapon against them in their possession, and that's why nobody's been able to rise up against them so far.
What is hidden in Marijoa is a very tough question. It could be an ancient weapon, it could be Pluton, but
I think
also
that
what you have
Pluton is like one of the top theories at the moment.
But directly underneath Marijoa we have Fishman Island. Could probably be something inside the mountain. There's a big theory going on that how the series will end is with them blowing up the entire mountain.
The red line.
Yeah, exactly. Them blowing up that, and maybe it could be that the secret hidden underneath Marijoa is the fact that the red line. Maybe the secret is the fact that the red line is actually built in that place. That it wasn't always there.
Oh. Maybe it was the all blue and then someone built the red line.
To control everything in a way. Like,
during the Void Century, probably then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also why the goal of the series will be to blow up that place. And that will also leave the spot for Fishman Island to rise up.
But Fishman Island, yeah, and Fishman Island's also gonna, like, according to Madame Shirley, Luffy's gonna be responsible for destroying Fishman Island.
Yeah.
But maybe it doesn't really get destroyed. Partly destroyed, because probably if it floats up, then probably all the buildings and stuff will
just be destroyed. And also that would make a lot of sense for all blue to exist at the island of fishes, like Fishman Island being the host of every fish in the entire world. It will probably was like that back in the days, and that's maybe a reason why fishmen came to exist in the first place.
Because someone fucked the fish.
Someone has to have fucked the fish. Because we have different types. We have fishmen, and then we have the mermaids, which are the bird versions. Isn't that like a panel with that half fish with legs? Alright.
So, in terms of power scaling, how would you rank the commanders? Like, of all the revolutionaries that we've seen, where do you think all the powers lie?
Oh, that's really tough. Well, obviously we have Dragon in the top. So, Dragon's probably the strongest. Here comes the thing about Sabo being mentioned as the revolutionaries number 2. In a sense, I would say if he was the second strongest in the entire of the revolutionary army, he would probably be responsible for one of these regions. But we have these 4 commanders here now, who are all dispersed around the world, taking care of stuff, like in the faith of Dragon. And just from that point, I'd say that all 4 of them would be stronger than Sabo is, disregarding the fact that Sabo has recently obtained the Mera no Mi, and he got the position that he's in without that fruit. So he's probably gonna shoot in power as well.
So basically you'd put, at the moment, like Dragon at the top, and then the commanders.
And then Sabo.
Yes. Where would you put Ivankov?
That's a tough one.
I think Ivankov's stronger than most people give him her credit for.
I also think that also with the hormone fruit, like with the way that she was able to cure Luffy, she can probably like take care of a lot of the damage that she takes herself in battle, and like reduce them. So that probably brings her up the board as well. I don't know. I'd probably say that she's stronger than Sabo as well, or maybe at the same level. Because they seem to be at the same rank.
Here's the thing about Sabo's power level. Like, we saw him go up against Fujitora, and he didn't really seem to have an issue with going up against an admiral. Like, he was very confident going up against Fujitora, and he was also very confident in going up against the Yonko commander, Burgess, and he straight up whooped Burgess. Like, he didn't take any damage from him.
No, that's true. Like, I would say that Sabo's really strong, but I believe that these 4 commanders are extremely strong as well.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
We have a giant who can just pop up out of the ground. The first giant with a devil fruit in the entire series. Which is OP. I just realized that. It's true. Unless you count Big Mom as a
no, she's not a giant.
So I'd probably put them all above him. Regarding them 4, I would hope that Karasu. I would hope that he's the strongest because he's badass as fuck with.
I love his design. Like, I love
the medical mask. He's probably. I do believe that he got the medical mask thing after reading Boku no Hero with the previous arc. If any of you guys read it, you probably know what I'm talking about.
This isn't the Boku no Hero channel, my friend.
No, this is the One Piece channel. That's why I said that if Oda read, he probably got inspiration from.
God works in mysterious ways.
Goda. I'd put Dragon, Commanders, Sabo, Ivankov, same level, with the potential of Sabo rising up to maybe even Dragon's level during the story.
Kuma. Where was he? He'd be at the top as well.
Yeah, Kuma was OP before. I think that's why he became pacifista. Because he was too OP to be kept alive.
Oda nerfed him.
Yeah, but
the only way he knew how.
I think he did. Like, he removed the pom-pom fruit in a way. Or maybe the original pacifista can still use all the powers.
I think that Kuma can still use his pawpaw fruit.
Like the original pacifista.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. But he wouldn't be able to like control it in the same sense.
I think he used Ursus Shock at Marineford, didn't he?
But can't like all of them use a version of that?
They don't have the paws. Only Kuma has the paws, like the original Kuma. They have the cannon coming out of their hands.
Yeah, maybe Kuma's different then. I don't know. But since he's working on like robotic commands now and he's not really thinking himself, maybe the innovation of him using his power is gone with that fact. So
yeah, he's not a cyborg anymore. He's like a full-on robot, as far as we know. But I still think that either there's some little tiny bit left in Kuma of him, like his human self, or he's a full-on robot with a failsafe built in. If Vegapunk would turn out to be a revolutionary, which I still think he is.
Next, we're gonna talk about a little bit about what happened at Baltigo.
We're gonna address the elephant in the room. Why isn't anyone damaged at all? Like, was there a fight between the Blackbeard pirates? Did the revolutionaries just up and leave? What the fuck happened? We don't know.
They probably realized that Burgess was there, since I'm a big fan of Dragon being a hockey specialist and him using like observation hockey to notice that he was there and just, alright, let's just leave.
But even if they noticed Burgess, how would they know that Blackbeard was on the way? I mean, they'd probably assume it, but still, wouldn't that be like a bit far-fetched?
Had it been me, being Dragon, realizing that one of his subordinates is hiding around my headquarters, I'd probably expect the rest of the crew to be on their way, or Burgess wouldn't hang out there.
Probably, yeah. That's probably all we have. There's not much to go on when it comes down to the revolutionaries. Just a lot of subtle hints left throughout the series. Yeah.
But we're learning more and more, which is amazing, because they've been a topic of interest since the first time we heard about them.
They're such a mystery.
Yeah. What's their goal? Why did Dragon start them? Did he start them, or did he just take them over?
We could discuss a bit about what we think about Dragon and his past and how he came to start the Revolutionary Army.
Alright, let's do it.
Do you think he could have been a Marine?
That's tough.
I do.
You do.
Yes, I do.
Based on
The fact that Garp was adamant in Luffy and Ace becoming Marines. But that could be because he failed to make Dragon a Marine.
yeah.
But I think that Dragon either was a Marine or he could have been an agent, like a CP9 agent or a ZP0 agent. And through working for the world government, he found out some shit that he didn't like. And he up and left, and he formed the Revolutionary Army with a drag queen and a robot.
No, I could see him more being like an agent for the world government than a Marine, since that seems more
Like, what
fitting
did
to his
Dragon
power.
do so far? I mean, the revolutionaries are a big threat to the world government, but how did the world government even find out about Dragon and the Revolutionary Army? Like, whenever someone mentions Dragon, everyone, like, shivers.
Yeah, but he's been taking over islands from the world government in the Revolutionary Army's name.
Yeah, but he's so discreet when he does it. Like, he always wears the cloak and stuff, and yet everyone seems to know who he is. I think he might have been, like, a more prominent figure in the world before he became a revolutionary. He could have been maybe a big-time Marine or world government agent or whatever. I mean, look at when Kizaru came to Sabondi. Whenever someone saw him and they recognized him, they were all like, oh my god, that's Kizaru.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Aokiji and Akainu and all these big-time figures that whenever they appear, someone's always like, oh my god, it's him.
Yeah.
He ate the blah 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 and he does blah blah blah. He was responsible for the blah 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 years ago.
Yeah, well, probably the world government has had some battles with Dragon and spread the news since they're in control of the media in One Piece world.
Sure.
But also that thing you said before about them getting to know about him before he became a revolutionary isn't really far-fetched, since he's like the prodigy son of the hero Garp.
Oh yeah, that's true.
If he was in the Marines and doing good for himself, like maybe the whole world was talking about the hero Garp's son is on the same level as him. It's a good theory. But I would rather see him being like a CP0 or something like that more than a Marine.
Yeah, but I think that for him to have become a revolutionary, being Garp's son, who's like very, very loyal to the Marines, maybe not anymore because since Ace died, he's abandoned his position as a Marine Admiral and he's working as an instructor. But I think Garp still believes in the Marines' justice. He just doesn't trust the world government. I think that when Dragon was born, Garp probably made sure to make him a strong-ass Marine.
Yeah.
And when Dragon found out whatever it was that turned him into a revolutionary, then that's when they just went separate paths. But he must have done so much for him to become such a threat to the world government. And that's what I find the most interesting about Dragon.
Yeah. I don't really believe that it's what he's done that's caused him to be the most wanted man in the world. I more think that it's some knowledge that he knows. Like maybe he knows the same secret that Doflamingo knows. Or something like that. And the fact that the world government's aware of the fact that he knows about this secret, since they weren't really with Doflamingo because he used it as leverage to save his own skin.
Yeah.
I would say that probably it's more likely that it's some information he's sitting on that could shake the entire world. That seems a bit more One Piece and a bit more like the father of Luffy than that he's done something big to.
He's probably done several big things, but yeah, knowledge is probably the biggest reason for someone to get such a big bounty.
Yeah.
We don't know his bounty yet, but it says he's the most wanted man in the world, so I think it'd probably be, well, way over
Luffy's.
Yeah, way over Luffy's. Maybe 5 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that whenever we see him go all out, it's gonna be a
huge scene. Yeah. I really want to see him manipulate the weather just from Conquerors Hockey.
So it commands the weather to change.
But like something we saw when the Conquerors Hockeys of Shanks and Whitebeard clashed, the whole sky was like slashed. We've seen firsthand that Conquerors Hockey can affect the sky. It can affect the clouds, and
I think
he would be able to manipulate like his surroundings with the like that's the same thing that Conquerors Hockey does.
Yeah,
It
Shanks was
spreads
able
out
to.
your aura in a way.
Yeah, Shanks was able to destroy, or not destroy, but like hurt the Moby Dick.
Yeah.
First of all, the weather's always stormy wherever Dragon is in action. I mean, at Baltigo and at New Kama Island now, we saw like the weather seemed to be very sunny at least.
Because that's because he controls it. It helps with the dark sky and the clouds whenever he's gonna sneak into some place, and also the rain makes it hard for people to visual stuff.
But still,
and also the last thing that I have that supports the fact that he's a hockey master is how good Sabo is at hockey. We saw him use that dragon claw armament hockey technique, and we've never seen anyone use armament hockey in a similar fashion.
I think we have.
No, they're all just use it to like enhance their bodies, make it harder when they hit and stuff like that. We've never seen like he does some like twist thing, and then like and that's what happens. And Sabo's been the disciple of Dragon his entire life, so the fact that Sabo's that good at hockey tells you something about how good his master would be at hockey.
I think that all the people at that level, like the Yonko and the top ranking Marines, Dragon, all like the top tier members of One Piece are probably hockey masters. I think they're all.
I believe that as well, but to some extent. Like Big Mom didn't use any technique like that with her armament hockey.
She blocked Luffy's Gear 4 punch.
She blocked. Like that's the standard armament hockey way, but this was something entirely different. Like he just.
But we don't know if that's
like that.
because of his hockey or not. That's
what
the
else
thing.
would it be?
It could just be him turning his hand and being strong. Like we've seen way weirder things in One Piece.
But he like cracked the entire arena. He broke the entire stadium in the Colosseum with that thing. Like
it's probably hockey related.
Yeah, it's something different about the way that he used his hockey that I noticed, and I do believe that comes from Dragon's knowledge of hockey. Him being under.
Yeah. I think that Dragon still, like, there's still something. Maybe he uses hockey to command the weather, but he could have a wind logia. I think that would be explain why he would like disappear so easily, and he could just be wind. And there's always storm and stuff like I said. But also he could have like a weather paramecia. I'm not the first one to mention that, because the biggest evidence is, like I said, the stormy weather. And also when Luffy was about to be executed by Buggy, the lightning came down and saved him. Yeah. And it didn't seem to hurt. Okay, he's a rubber man, so that's why he probably didn't get hurt. But still.
Yeah, like, he's immune to our lightning, but still, just the fact that lightning came
down, yes,
tells you that the wind power doesn't really add up.
That's true.
Since wind doesn't result in lightning. That's the weather controlling. And also the storms with the raining clouds. Like, it's something about the weather. It has to be. And
whether or not it's hockey or a fruit remains to be seen.
Yeah, and I just think that the fruit would be too boring. It would be too easy. It would make Dragon so much more badass if it's this Conquerors Hockey that
I think that if anyone's a Conquerors Hockey master, it's Shanks. But I think that Dragon is a possible candidate, and I think it's way more interesting for him to be a hockey expert who controls the weather through his sheer willpower. Yeah. And maybe Luffy could learn that technique as well.
From him.
But I think it's more likely for him to have like a weather paramecia or a storm paramecia or whatever, and whenever he controls the weather around him, it's because he's using Awakening.
Okay. Yeah. That could work. It could also be that theory about the mythical Zoan. The dragon, there's like a Chinese dragon mythical thing that...
We haven't done our research on this, so...
No, but this dragon controls the weather.
Yeah.
And
I think that dragons in... I'm sorry if I'm wrong here. Dragons in general, in Chinese mythology, are weather manipulators. So like they can control the weather.
yeah. What I'm getting interested at now is if we've ever seen Momonosuke do anything weather-ish. Hasn't he summoned like a rain cloud or something?
I think that when he flies, he doesn't really fly. He makes clouds that he walks on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I believe I've seen that as well.
Maybe
So he could have
dragon could have the actual fruit, and
Yeah.
Momo has the smile version of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be badass. I love my dragons.
Dragon? Do you want to do the honors of doing the outro since I did the intro?
We are Galalalalala. Please subscribe. Please like the video. Make sure to comment your thoughts on our thoughts, and let's make something wonderful. Let's keep the discussion going. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you want to. We appreciate it. He definitely appreciates it. Look at his face. That's the face of someone who loves his subscribers. If I ever saw one.
Take care, guys. We will see you guys next time.
Yes, we will.
Wow.